The wages of labor are the encouragement of industry, which, like every other human quality, improves in proportion to the encouragement it receives. Wealth is not the thing we seek, but the reward for producing what we need and the motive for doing so. Production, once assured the next quest. The service of society is the thing in which we are all most interested. A machine is not capital as we have defined capital. It is not a part of the social wealth. The price of any service or commodity is determined by the price of the labor and capital which have been expended in producing it. The entrepreneur always gets a surplus for his leadership because, while others are rendering routine services, he is bringing about social changes. The man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. Each man works for an interest that is personal. He is true to himself first of all. The more the individual produces, the more he adds to the general stock of wealth, and the more of this he gets back in the form of wages. The interests of society are more effective in guiding the action of men when they are acknowledged and respected as interests. Utility is the quality in commodities that makes them serviceable to man. The true reason why all men are not continually at war with one another is that society renders some amount of cooperation necessary to each. The force of self-interest is always at work, urging individuals and groups to attempt to use the social organism for their own private profit. The desire for wealth is simply the desire for wider life. The effectiveness of industry and the very life of society depend on the moral character of men. Every person in the whole world is anxious to get the most satisfaction possible out of the least amount of effort. Socialism means a passing of the machinery of production from the control of society to the control of a comparatively small and select group. Civilization can only revive when there shall come into being in a number of individuals a new tone of mind independent of the one, prevalent among the crowd and in opposition to it. Freedom is not the power of doing what we like, but the right of being able to do what we ought. The more fully work is organized, the more simple becomes the condition for acquiring skill. Equality of opportunity is freedom, but equality of outcome is repression. If work and wages are nearly proportionate all around, the result must be an aggregate production far in excess of the aggregate market. Monopoly is business at the end of its journey. The capitalist has an insatiable desire to accumulate wealth. The institution of private property and the freedom of contract include restrictions on the selfishness of individuals. Government can, in fact, have no life but through the private activities of individuals. Men are not social when they are in a crowd. In production, the race is not always to the swift but to those who keep on running. The history of social institutions is for the most part a history of the various forms of property. The value of wealth consists in the power to command labor. The secret of all success is to know how to deny yourself. The function of government is not to make people do good, but to prevent them from doing harm. The man who gets only wages is not half as well off as the man who gets wages and dividends too. Labor and capital are co-workers in the process of production. The possession of wealth is not the end of effort, but the beginning. Injustice done by a few is a wrong to all. Wealth is not measured in material goods, but in the command over the labor of others. True liberty is self-government and the realization of equality in the organization of society. Inequality is not in itself evil, nor is equality in itself good.